We left at 8:50. Is Alan coming in today?
Yeah.
He's going to be here. Okay. The Chovos HaLevavos had explained that there are 3 levels of love between a servant and a master. 3 levels of love. One level of love could be based upon when the master is very kind to the servant. That is a basis for the servant to love the master. The kindness which he provides and the accommodation which he provides for the servant. That's one reason. Another reason why the servant loves the master. Let's say the servant is delinquent in his responsibilities and his duties to the master. And despite the master understanding the delinquency and the failings, he doesn't punish the servant. So the servant is appreciative to the master that he's not being punished, even although he deserves to be punished. That's another basis for the servant to love the master. And the third is, which is unrelated to anything, it's just the servant appreciating who the master is, that he feels privileged that he's the servant of such a master. That's the love. That's a natural love. So that love is not contingent on anything. It's not because the master has provided or the master hasn't punished. It's just a recognition of the servant of who the master is. Give you an example. We say every day in the Modim, in the Shemon Esrei, but most people, it doesn't register. We say, Modim nachloch. What do we give thanks to God? So later it says, Nisecho shebchol yom imanu. The miracles, tovisecho, hatov kilo cholu rachmecho. The good which doesn't cease to be. God continuously provides good for us. Miracles, goodness, chesed, phenomenal. We give thanks. But that's not the opening statement. What is the ultimate reason why we give thanks? Sha'atahu Hashem Elokeinu. That you're our God. That's what we're giving thanks to you. It has nothing with what he provided for us. That you're our God, you chose us to be your people, that's the ultimate chesed. It's the relationship. Unrelated to what we received. Just that there's that connection. We are your servants. That we're giving thanks for that. Then we continue out afterwards. When we say Oleinu, the closing Oleinu at the end of davening, what are we giving thanks to God for? What are we praising for? Oleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol. L'seis glu l'yotzav rishon. Shlo asonu kagoye orotzos. You did not create us like the nations of the earth, right? Shem mishtachlim lehevel arik. We bow to you, they bow to who knows what. Right? That's what we're praising you for that. That we have this privilege. So it's what we're doing. You put us in a position that we have clarity, that we have something. Equating the two levels between a master, a subject, and a master, we're able to establish the same basis for love for God. The Rov Chazdu Aledu Asmodus Tuvoso Belonu. Why does a person love God? Because the unceasing chesed and goodness. V'tidbak nafshin ba'avosel tikvas gemudo. So why do we love him? Because hopefully, we hope he'll give more. He'll provide more. V'yeshti avosenu belokim lastiru avonenu. Other people, you love God. That despite we know to what degree we failed, Hashem is willing to sweep it under the carpet. He deals with us as if we haven't failed. V'avra peshenu, he's willing to look away from our sins, our defiances. Im goldo mirienu osov avrenu amitzvosov. Despite the degree of defiance and our transgressing his mitzvos. Despite all that, he treats us as if nothing happened. But there's another level of love, that we love him because of who he is. To exalt him. And that's the purest love. The third level is the purest love for God. It's not because what he's provided, or what he's not punishing us, but rather because we understand who he is. That attracts us, that draws us to him. I'll give you an example. It's very interesting. Lahavdil, eleventh. People like to be around rich people or successful people. And they'll talk about them, how special they are. They will never see a dime from the person who has the money. The person will never acknowledge them. The person doesn't even know they exist. But somehow you feel you want to have some level of association with that person. Why? There's no hope you're going to receive anything from the person. Why? Right? You know what the answer? It's a mishagas. Why should you? You know? Somebody who helps you, does for you, somehow you value less than this person who never did a thing to you. You speak about this person's praises, although he's never provided and done anything for you. Why? That's just the nature of a person. Of course it's, you know. No, you're not even associated. No, you're not even associated. Did you see in the paper, you're all excited, you know, this person made so much money. You know, it's not because you were amazed, you know, or you saw that person. Therefore you saw him. You know, therefore what? You saw, therefore what? What are you wasting your time for? What are you wasting your life? Being focused on this has no relevance to your life. You will not gain from it, and your life will not move forward as much as an inch. Nothing. That's what it is. The answer is because Hashem created a human being that's anything that we consider special, somehow we gravitate to that. That person, every person has that, except it can be misappropriated. That's called misappropriation. But if a person applies that where it should be applied, and you recognize who God is, his specialness, his unlimitedness, his genius, and everything else that goes along with that, okay, that's avozako. That's pure love. It's not because of your deficiencies. You're gravitating there, and you're being attracted there. You should love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your possessions. What does this pasuk have to do with what we just said? Right? He spoke of the three levels of love. Because the kindness that he provides, right? Or he doesn't punish us when we deserve to be punished. And the love which is the pure love. He says, as the Navi tells us, it's the Kriya Shema, V'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levav b'chol nafshecha b'modecha. How do we understand it? What does he mean? Why? Maybe it's because God did so much for you. I'm willing to do it because he's been so kind to me all these years. Every one of these situations. Why are you giving your life? I think that it's b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshcha. It's kind as a person is to someone else. You know, there's a story my Rosh Hashanah used to tell over. We speak about hakaras hatov. A person has to be appreciative. Appreciation is a very positive quality. A person is appreciative. So he says, but what's appreciative? To what point? To what point do you have to be appreciative? So he tells over a story, the story that he told over in Europe, like, you know, this is in the 1800s. To bring out this point, probably the Alta Slabodka, or it goes back to Chaim Volozhina. It was said over that this is what you call, this is a real Litvische story. It's not a Hasidic tale. So there was this person, he was a Mishulach. He went to raise money. So in the olden days, if a person went to raise money for a community, he could be on the road for years. And finally, after a number of years, he comes back. This person is coming back with a sack of gold. He raised, was very successful. He had a sack of gold. and he's traveling on a wagon, in a coach, and he's all by himself. All of a sudden, a highwayman stops him, and he stops. He says, "Your money or your life." Okay, so he realizes, he takes the sack of gold, throws it to the ground, and the man says, "I'm going to let you live. I'm taking the gold, I'm going." He says, "But you realize I've been away all these years. I come back and I tell them that I was held up. Do you think they're going to believe me? They're not going to believe me. So you wanted to prove that I was held up? I'm going to take off my coat." He put a few bullet holes through my coat. So at least when I get back, I'll show them that I was held up. So the bandit says, more than happy to do it. Puts 3 holes through his coat. Then he says, "But you know, it has to really look good that there was a struggle." Takes off his hat. He says, "Put two bullet holes through my hat." Puts 2 bullet holes through his hat. He says, "You know something? I'm going to take off my vest. Put another 2. So he says, so he's out of bullets. The moment he realizes he's out of bullets, he pounces on the thief, wrestles him to the ground, takes the money back. So the thief says, "You dirty, lying Jew. After I've done for you, that's the way you treat me?" You understand? That's appreciation. You know, appreciation is to a certain point. You do for me, there's reciprocation. I reciprocate. But to compromise my existence, that's uncalled for. That is not a debt. That goes beyond a debt of gratitude. Okay? B'chol levavcha, God's kind to you. God has done for you. He's provided. But to give it all away, to give away your life, give away everything, you're left destitute, nothing. It's already too much. So therefore, it cannot be as a result of the kindness and the goodness that he provided. The answer is because that's called avazako. Because I recognize who God is, it's worthwhile to give it. It's not because he did anything for me. It's because of who he is. Because of who he is, therefore I give it all away. To be continued.